My name is Erin Slone. My family moved to Park Forest in 1982 when I was about 3 years old. And one of my favorite memories in Park Forest was the July 4th parade. It was such a big deal. We had the Shriners in their little cars and their fez caps, and there were clowns and the Park Forest baseball and softball teams and Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts were all in the parade. And it was just such a happy time where people lined up along Lakewood Boulevard and they were right outside of the Central Park. And we just had it just seemed like a parade that lasted forever. And there was so much candy, and everybody had a smile on their face. We had picture day for the baseball and softball leagues. We would take turns lined up outside of Freedom Hall and get our pictures taken. And it was all on that one day. And it just was something that we looked forward to every single year. There were so many people that were just happy to be out supporting the village, supporting their kids, celebrating the marching bands from the neighborhood high schools and the middle schools. It was just a great time to live in Park Forest, and I will never forget those memories.
My name is Georgette Gladstone, and I grew up in Park Forest. I've been here for 70 some odd years. And my favorite memory of Park Forest is the Aqua Center. I was a member of the Aqua Center since it opened. My dad believed so much in a community swimming pool that he sold the bonds to our neighbors in the neighborhood. And he was so devoted to that project that he gave up his commission to pass on the savings to the others. So every summer, we always look forward to swimming at the Aqua Center, and we still do. We're still members of the Aqua Center too. And at one time we had 4 generations attending the Aqua Center. So that's one of my favorite memories. But I do have to say, growing up in Park Forest, it was very safe and allowed young people to be very independent. I could ride my bike to the library, to the park, to the shopping center. I could go to the movies, and my parents never worried about where I was, or maybe that's.
They worried, but didn't say so.
Okay. Well, anyway, and that was really a great time to be in Park Forest.
My name is Andy Gladstone, and I also grew up in Park Forest, roughly 70 something years. I'm now 22. And my greatest memory, I think, really was Park Forest Boys Baseball, where we had, I have no idea how many teams. It must have been 50, 75 different teams. And we would, on opening day, line up for a parade that went pretty much all over Park Forest. And people welcomed us. They cheered for us as we walked down the street. The police held traffic for us. It seemed to go on forever. And finally, after we were done, we would play our opening game, which fortunately my team always won. We were the best. I am sincerely disappointed, in fact, that we don't have that anymore, but we've gone on to other things. There are other travel teams. The Aqua Center is still fabulous. It always was. It still is a wonderful place.
And you know what I want to add? With Andrew growing up in Park Forest, we actually hung up at the same places, but we didn't know each other.
No, we didn't. I had a good time.
I'm Jennifer Goodrich. I've been born in Park Forest and I've lived here most of my life. I remember some wonderful things about my childhood. I thought that everybody had a wonderful childhood like I did. Growing up in Park Forest, I really remember the Aqua Center a lot. That was our activity of the summer. And so the big decision was riding our bike there or could we get mom to drive us there? But then we had to walk home afterwards, and that was hard because we were exhausted after playing all day. The other thing that I remember real prominently is the girls' softball program. I was real young when they first started the program, and we only had shirts. By the time the leagues progressed and more teams were added and more people were added, then they got more money and more funding. And then we had full uniforms and full shirts and even socks. So it was wonderful to see that type of a program grow over time. One of my favorite, though, truly favorite memories is the block party in Park Forest on Apple Lane. We had a lot of active people on Apple Lane. So we had this wonderful idea of sharing all these fun and games with everybody on the block. So we had to go get permits to block off the street. We had signups, we had prepared races and games, but the best thing that started it all off was the parade. Every kid on the whole block was dressed up and they were going to be in the parade. They were with their bicycles, they were marching, they were walking their dogs. Maybe grandma was holding their hand, but everybody got to be in the parade. So that was the kickoff of the block party each and every year. But we had music. Everybody brought their speakers out onto the front lawn, and we had John Philip Sousa playing real loud, and we were allowed to. We had games and races, but we had prizes. So it was just wonderful. It was just, something that we never had before. I never saw it anywhere. Everybody wanted to come to our block because we were having so much fun. But I also remember Sock Trail School, when it was summertime, they had play school. So there's this great big box, and that's where all the arts and crafts were held, but it was always active in Park Forest. That was probably the most fun, is that we could go out and play. And of course, you had to be home, when the street lights came on. But we could ride our bikes around the plaza. We could go to Sun Drugs. We could go to Sports and Hobbies. There was Go Blacks in the plaza. All these crazy, small little shops, but those were part of all of our childhood. So it was wonderful growing up in Park Forest.
My name is Peter Cunningham. I am the son of Barney Cunningham, who was the fourth president of Park Forest. When Janet contacted me to share with all of you a fond memory of Park Forest, the question was not if I would do it, is which one I would choose. And in follow-up conversations with Janet, I've had an opportunity to think about Park Forest and the fond memories that I've had, and three of which all surround the center stages of Park Forest. They would be Central Park and the Plaza and the events that occurred there. There was a recurring memory that I have of the annual 4th of July carnival that was at Central Park every July, and the celebration on the 4th with fireworks, where my family would go out to the Central Park, find a nice place, lay a blanket down, and after each explosion, the whole crowd would ooh and ah. I can hear it now as I'm recalling that memory. Another event at Central Park would have been Pancake Day. Every September, the Kiwanis Club would set up their tent and the pancake-a-tron, and we would enjoy just hours of fun and a delicious breakfast. Another event would be the first day of boys baseball, starting out with a parade of all the young aspiring baseball players, parade, walking into their first games at Central Park. And then the memory of the Christmas parade that would begin and then end at the plaza. And then at the center stage, by the plaza clock tower, we would have the special guest of honor join us, waving to the crowds and welcoming them to the celebration of the holidays. And One memory included um, Uncle Ned Locke from the Grand Master of the Bozo Circus Show. That was a local program here in Chicago throughout my childhood. These are some of the fondest memories I have of Park Forest, and I hope that by sharing them with you, you'll be able to recall them as well. And I wish everyone a fond and grateful message from my family to all of yours for the memories and the special place that Park Forest is and will always be. Thank you very much.